Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you are all having a wonderful day. I just finished all of my classes for the day finally, and I'm just chilling. I actually recorded a video earlier, and it was like a short little video about this guy I had a situation slash hookup with, you could say. Basically, he was an Australian bodybuilder slash power lifter. And that was a really fun little short story that I wanted to share with y'all, and I recorded it earlier. I'm not sure if it will come up before this video or after it. I want to say after, because I'm going to try to do some editing for that video, and y'all know I honestly hate editing. But anyway, today is going to be just a super conversational story time. This might be a slightly longer video, I'm not sure yet, but I mostly just want to talk about how I've been trying to make myself more happy recently. I want to say for the past maybe not quite a year, but around 10 months or so, I've just been really struggling with my mental health. I had a pretty serious relationship back in October. Excuse me, not October. I did have a situation this past October, but I did have a more serious relationship back in March, and it was just something that really broke me, honestly, y'all. I was not the same for months and months, and I've just not been feeling well. I genuinely, it's hard to get out sometimes. I don't really like to put super personal stuff out, but I do think this would be helpful to some people, because I've been watching a lot of other YouTube videos about something called decentering men. And that's not saying that men are trash or man hating or anything like that. It's just saying as women, especially in the past 100 years, women are they're almost taught that we have to have a guy, and we have to be chosen by a man. And I think that when you have the concept that you need to be chosen by someone to, succeed in life. I mean, there's plenty of even movies, you'll see a Hallmark movie where the girl has everything. She has a career, she has a home, she has friends, family, but she doesn't have a man, so she's not complete. I think that's so toxic and just so backwards, because you'll have a man at 50, for example, and he's a golden bachelor. He's eligible, he has his bachelor pad, he's going out having fun. But if you have a 50-year-old woman who's never been married and she's single with no kids, it's just you think something's wrong with her. That's the concept that everyone has. I feel people will look at a woman at that age, or really any woman that's been single for a substantial amount of time, and think that there's something wrong with her. And I think that's toxic. You don't think the same about a man typically, so why are we doing that to women? And so I don't know, so during my relationship, I did not have a good experience. He was at first it was good, but then he started being very just facetious with stuff, and just doing things that someone who loves you would not do. For example, I was driving to see him, and the traffic was really bad, and I was on FaceTime with him, so I can tell you I saw this. This is not just something that I was thinking in my head or whatever. I saw him do this. So we were on FaceTime, and I was really stressed out because he was trying to get me to get on an exit, because the traffic was terrible. And he was get off on an exit and then go on a back road and then get back on the interstate past the traffic, which was a good idea. I'm aware of that, but literally I was just so stressed out, and the traffic was terrible. And I just remember being so upset, and visibly in my voice as well as my face, you could see that I was stressed out. And he literally was talking about oh, well, you don't have to come, talking about me coming to see him. And at this point, I had not seen my boyfriend for literally about 2.5 weeks, and I wanted to see him. So I was just no, I want to come. And I guess the idea of me being that upset at the notion of not being able to see him, and me being so upset, and in that moment being frantic, it brought him some sort of pleasure, because the face he made, he just smiled and kind of looked off camera. He got some sort of sick pleasure from seeing me upset at the idea of not being able to see him, as well as like being stressed out in traffic. Like he somehow got pleasure from seeing me that way. And after like thinking about that and like looking back at other things, like for example, another time I was hanging out with my friends and he literally like called me, and I was like, hey, I'm with so and so, I can't pick up the phone right now, but can I call you later? And he was just like, yeah, sure. And he like hung up and like ignored me the rest of the night. And I just know in my heart and soul that he was like punishing me for like not talking to him. Like, I know that in my heart and soul. And this is also the dude I did a story time about my breakup on. He literally also twisted something so like crazily that you literally like wonder if like his mental health is like at full capacity. Because so when we originally planned on like meeting, he lived like 3 hours away. So I told him that he could drive down here and we could hang out and stuff. And if he wanted to spend the night, he could, but he could like sleep on the couch, because at the time I was like staying by myself and I didn't have a roommate. And so I didn't know that dude. And I was trying to like date more seriously. So I was like, okay, well, you can stay on the couch. He agreed. And so we ended up doing edibles and stuff that night. And so he ended up getting sick, long story short. And I took care of him, cleaned up, throw up, literally let him sleep in my bed to make sure that he was okay, checked on him like throughout the night, like took care of this dude. And at the time, he was not my boyfriend. He was a stranger. This is my first time meeting him. And when we did break up, this dude had the audacity to sit here and say, well, it was your fault I got sick because XYZ, saying that like I should have stopped him from like taking that many like edibles, that many milligrams. And I'm like, I literally told you first and foremost not to take an entire one, like a whole one, because he wanted to. And I was like, you don't need to, because your tolerance is so low because you've never done it before. And he did it anyway, because that's what guys do, right? And literally he had audacity at the end of the relationship to sit here and be like, well, it's your fault anyway, and this would have never happened if I would have never taken that much. And it's just like, you genuinely like cannot be okay in the head if you're going to turn a situation like that into what he said, because that's a lot of mental gymnastics to take like someone from saying like that you like basically drugged them and it's your fault that they got sick. And the reality of the situation was he chose to take as many like milligrams as he did, and like that's his own fault. Like I literally like am so pissed off I can barely speak. I don't know if that's like coming through the camera, but like just the ridiculousness of it. And so I felt like at a certain like level he did get pleasure from like upsetting me, like between the like smiling at me being upset about the idea of not being able to see him, to like just anything he would do. Like we were literally up in the mountains one time going to this place called Frying Pan Tower, and we were coming back and he literally was like, yeah, I like to start arguments sometime when I'm bored. And I'm like, why would you do that? Like why would you start an argument of like, with all people, the person that you're supposed to be in love with? Like that's not okay, like at all. And so like another situation was another dude that I had like seen over the summer, and this dude went to like college in Pennsylvania, and like we basically like dated. Like we would hang out like every day, we would, you know, sleep together, we would go get like dinner together, we would go on dates, we would go out to the bar, we would literally do everything. Like we would watch TV like literally almost every night, like night after night. Like it was a relationship. I don't care if it was like official, because that's like another thing that I've noticed. Like there's no need for all these like little like sections of a relationship. Like there's like talking and this and this, and there's just like people are always trying to do anything they can to have a relationship without actually being in one. And it's honestly like mind-blowing how like it's like some people want to make dating so much more difficult than it needs to be. Like it does not need to be so complicated. Like you don't need to have like 5 steps before boyfriend. Like it's either like you want to be in a relationship or you don't. It's really that simple, guys. Like it's really not like rocket science. It's really not something that's like a hard concept to grasp. I really don't believe that enough people are that dumb to truly think that like this is like okay or normal or anything like that. Like this is just ridiculous when it comes to all these different steps and like requirements before you're like actually in a relationship. Like ridiculous. But that was a little side rant. But so this dude, I would literally let him sleep in my bed. Like, we would sleep in this bed like nearly every night together. I would let him eat my food. I would let him use my Wi-Fi, use my bathroom, so use my electricity and water. Literally basically live here over like the course of like a month and a half. And so because we like spent so much time together, I ended up like getting feelings. And so literally this dude, apparently like the whole time, he did not feel the same way about me, which is like always great to find out. But I would rather know like sooner than later. But so I basically only like figured out that he didn't really care about me that much at the end, because this dude let like the last time he saw me be me taking him to get hot wings and taking him back to his like house that he was staying at, because he was staying and these houses over here behind me, behind my apartment complex, it's where like a lot of students like rent out houses, so it's like short-term leases. And so he was doing that, and I would always drive him just to be nice, because I didn't want to make him like walk in the dark by himself, or like walk back in the morning, do that walk of shame type thing. I didn't want to do that. So I would always drive him usually. And this last time I did that, and we got hot wings and stuff. And that was like the last time I saw this dude in person, because he completely just, after all the nice things I did for him, and like we hung out together and I thought we had like a meaningful connection, like he didn't give a damn about any of it, y'all. Like honestly, the reason I even made this video is because I actually got in touch with him this past week. We got back in contact with each other, and it's just like, I literally am like tripping over my words, because it's just like so much that I could say that I can't say, because this video would be like so long. But he just like, the way he acted like was just so nonchalant. Like he didn't really care that he hurt me, honestly, y'all. Like he's like said he was sorry, and he didn't realize like how I felt and this and that, and like he genuinely just didn't care. Like he asked for my Snapchat again, and I added him, and he literally left me undelivered for like over 20 hours one time, and then he just never like talked to me. So last night I finally got like the courage to like just remove him, because he's not serving like a purpose anymore. Like he's not the person that I was like seeing back in like June and July. He's not that guy. And honestly, I'm kind of happy that I got in touch with him again, because it helped me like honestly get over him, because I saw like this person that I'm like upset and sad over does not exist anymore, or if ever. Like I don't even think he was ever that person that I thought in my heart he was, because like it was so easy for me to like unadd him last night after I realized like he served no purpose in my life any longer, and he was just taking up space for like, from someone that could love me appropriately and actually treat me with respect. Like I didn't even want anything from this dude. Like I just literally wanted to be friends, and he was just like being such a jackass and like leaving me undelivered for hours and hours and hours, and that's just unacceptable. So like that was actually what got me into like finding this movement of decentering men. And I honestly, like I've been listening to like podcasts and stuff a couple of like days, and like I feel so much better. Like I genuinely am happy, and I just don't feel like, I don't feel the need to be in a relationship, because I can be happy and I can be whole and I can be who I need to be, regardless of whether someone is in my life romantically like that or not. And honestly, like it's the most liberating feeling, because y'all, for the past like 10 months, I've genuinely not been happy for a long time. I'm a very like outgoing, and like I love to dress up, and like, I love fashion and makeup and presenting myself well and being goofy and stuff like that. But ultimately, it's just been a really rough experience for me over the past like nearly a year, especially after my relationship back in March ended. And yeah, like I even discovered that the past two situationships that I've like had like over the summer and back in August and stuff like that, that was literally like 2 rebounds from what happened in March. Like I don't think I ever fully recovered from that breakup. And like I think because of that, I just like was just like screwing myself over for months and months and months. And I think that now, after I'm kind of like, listening to more motivational videos, learning about like other women's experiences with dating, and like just like even like my friends this past year, my friend Abby was in a relationship with this guy And he literally cheated on her with this girl who was underage, mind you, at her own birthday party at her own apartment. So he had the audacity to cheat on his girlfriend on her birthday at her apartment. Like, if there's nothing that men will not have, it is definitely audacity. They will always have no short supply of audacity. Let me tell you that. It's just like, it is what it is. And obviously I don't hate men. I love men, actually. I enjoy hanging out with them. I have a lot of male friends, I mean, gay and straight. And yeah, I enjoy men. I enjoy the company of men, and I don't think that all men are bad, but enough of them are to like warrant a conversation, because I genuinely feel like the like emergence of men like Andrew Tate and like that Fresh and Fit guy and these other podcasts that are like trying to copy them, like these types of men look at women as though we are objects. And women are not objects. Women are people and deserve respect and love and kindness. And I think that the mere notion that a person is property should like discredit someone like that. The mere notion that someone is property should discredit everything that comes out of someone like that's mouth. Like, it's just, it is what it is. I don't care what else they say. I don't care if they like come up with world peace. If you look at people like they are property, which means you look at them like a slave. Okay, let's not call it like anything else other than what it is. You look at your wife or girlfriend or whatever, if you're this type of guy, you look at them like they're a slave, and you look at them for what they can do for you. Like, I was even watching this thing where guys were literally like talking about what they like about their partner. And literally they basically just listed things that their like partner did for them. Oh, I love how she does this or does this or does this. Like, and conversely, like if you ask a woman, typically speaking, she'll be like, oh, I love his smile. I love his hair. I love, you know, this, that. I love how he makes me feel in this way. Like, it's like acts of service and not like actual love. Like, you love that she cooks for you, you love that she washes your laundry, you love that she takes care of you when you're sick. Like, you love that. You don't really love the person, because really anybody could do that. Okay, anybody could do those other things. Like, what about that girl makes you love her specifically? And a lot of guys genuinely, and I'm not saying like it's their own fault necessarily, because I do know that a lot of times that men are taught to not be emotional, and like they don't have the same like resources that women do. I mean, they do, but they don't take advantage of them. But like, I understand that like a lot of guys like struggle to understand their emotions and stuff. I mean, you know, I kind of get it. I don't get it completely, but like, come on, there's got to be a way that we can like meet halfway, and like it's not like someone who's completely emotionally inept and they literally have no skills whatsoever when it comes to like maintaining, building, and like strengthening a relationship. Like, come on, guys, like literally. And then they'll be the first ones, again, like those types of guys I was mentioning, they'll be the first ones to say, oh, they don't need a bitch, or they don't need a girl, or they don't ever usually call them girls or women. They call them females or bitches or this or that, which is so degrading. But like, they always talk about like how they don't need it. But yet, you know what's so funny is the fact that literally all their podcasts, all of these little like dating gurus, this and that, whatever you want to call it, all they talk about is what you can do as a man to attract and keep more women. Like, if you don't need us, then why are you always obsessing over us? Like, it is insane. Like, they will really sit there and say they don't need a bitch, but all their content is geared towards meeting, keeping, and like manipulating, like literally manipulating and gaslighting women. Like, literally, that's all these men's platform is based around. It's actually like not for women, but it's about women. Like, it's for men to learn how to manipulate and control women. So it's just so funny to me that like at the end of the day, they say they don't need a bitch, or they don't need this or need that, but yet their whole manosphere is nothing but trying to learn and teach other men to manipulate women. Like, it's all about women. So I don't really think that women are the ones that need men as much as men need to control women. Like, that's what it is. It's control. Like, all of my relationships, like, have been some element of like controlling. Like, I genuinely believe that like a lot of men don't understand dating, because if a woman is in her feminine energy and loves you and cares about you and XYZ, she will naturally submit to you. I know that I do. Like, if a guy is like a really strong guy and he's nice and he does what he needs to do and he's like attracted to me and all these things, like, that's very sexy, and naturally as a woman I, submit. But I think a lot of men also don't know what submission means. Submission does not mean like I'm your slave. That means like, you know what I mean? So it's not about that. Like, a lot of guys are just so like, they don't understand it. It's really a foreign concept, like, to be nice. And so like this movement's really helped me like regain my happiness. I've actually been really, really happy these past few days, y'all. I mean, I've had some hiccups here and there, like we all do, but I've been really, really happy. Like, I've been doing more things. I've been uploading on here. I need to be doing some more like Italian homework, if I'm being honest, but I've been doing a lot. I've been going out, I've been going on dates. I've been having a really good time, y'all. And that's what's important right now for me. And I encourage you to go out there and look at resources and just figure out, y'all, what makes you happy and do it. Like, genuinely, it took me a long time to realize that. But at the end of the day, like, you can't beat being happy. Like, I genuinely do feel more happy, and I don't feel the need to be with a guy, because after hearing like all these like other like instances of women being unhappy and like dealing with things and like just hearing their stories and stuff, I'm like, wow, I went through like a situation like that. And so like I get it more. So yeah, I hope that this was more helpful. It was not like a super juicy story time, but it was definitely something that I feel like needed to be shared, because I feel like so many people, y'all, literally just go through life and they don't like share some of their experiences. And I feel like this could help other people, because I have other friends who are like talking to people right now, and I have friends who are single, and it's just really cool to be able to share experiences, especially on YouTube and stuff like that. So yeah, hopefully, you can look at some of the like resources I will link below. I've been watching this one channel. I literally forgot her name. I'm terrible. But I will link her channel below. And I've just been listening to lots of other women's stories about like situations that they have been in with men and dating and stuff like that. And again, decentering men, like what I was talking about earlier, is not about hating men. I shouldn't even have to give this preface because I've already done it again, but I'll do it again just because men like to, comment stuff in the comment section sometimes if they find videos similar to this. But it's not about hating men. It's about respecting yourself, loving yourself, and never putting someone ahead of yourself as far as like your happiness. Like, you should not have to sacrifice your own happiness and safety and like comfort for someone else to make them happy. Like, that's too big of an ask. So I hope you all are having a great night, and I hope you all continue to live such happy lives. And I really genuinely do want to do something with this channel and have fun, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope it helped you. So yeah,